If you are an SMG user in Apex Legends, then you are absolutely loving it right now, as every SMG is extremely good. We recently discussed the best shotguns, and it was pretty easy to narrow down what was the best shotty. However, for the SMGs, it is a little bit harder. Each SMG really emphasizes different playstyles, and what one might be best for you might be a little bit different than what is best for someone else. Nonetheless, let us hop right into it and see what the best SMG is in Apex Legends Season 11, and let us try to do it in less than 6 minutes, we'll say this time, because there is one more weapon to talk about. First up, the beastly Prowler. No doubt about it, the Prowler ain't gonna be for everyone. That being said though, the Prowler is my definitive pick for those looking to take on multiple people at once. The best thing about the Prowler will be its magazine size, and its size really does give it a high total damage ceiling when you are rocking a purple mag, which means you'll be able to take on more people before reloading if you are really hitting your shots. The second thing for me is really the hipfire accuracy of the Prowler. It is nearly pinpoint laser-esque, which makes it an extremely close-range powerhouse. Its biggest drawback will be one of its benefits though, and it is that burst mode. It won't be for everyone, and not everyone will like this burst feeling. Secondly, the gun feels much harder to use on mouse and key than it does on controller, and I think controller players will be much more in favor of this weapon. Also, the base magazine size of 20 is good, but it isn't really stellar, and if you do miss a burst completely with no mag, you might be in trouble. But heavy ammo seems easy to come by this season, which is nice as you more or less have ammo all the time. The Prowler's a great SMG for those on controller and or just want to take on lots of players at once and be super aggressive. This brings us to the old reliable and one of the most nostalgia-esque guns in the game, the R99. The R9 is for those that really like that clean kill feeling of one-nagging someone. The R99 hugely rewards players with insane accuracy, and those that can get the recoil down, which isn't too hard, will be able to extend its range beyond the immediate close range, which can be very rewarding. The toughest part of the R9 though is going to be its base mag size. Its damage ceiling caps out very low, which means you'll need to be on point with nearly every bullet to one-mag someone with purple armor when you do not have a mag. The range also is pretty poor compared to something like the Volt, which is another factor to consider when choosing a loadout. Finally, and for some strange reason, the light ammo this season feels harder to come by, which is another drawback as the car does not have this issue. Don't get all these negatives wrong though. The R99 is a beast of a weapon and is one for those that really want an old school feel and a rewarding feeling of that clean 200-0ing someone at blazing fast speeds. If you enjoyed this video or you just want to support me, hit that like button. I appreciate the support. This brings us to the previously mentioned car SMG. The car and the R99 differences are actually very minimal in terms of performance, but the car is the SMG to use if you really want a convenience weapon that actually has a very minimal better time to kill. And we're talking about hundredths of a seconds better, so I would not worry about the time to kill with these SMGs. The one thing that the car really does benefit over something like the R9 is that damage per bullet. The car does shoot a little bit slower than the R99, which means it compensates by having an increase of damage per round. This means a no-mag car has a higher damage ceiling, which means you'll be able to one-mag someone much easier than the R9. Of course though, and additionally, the car has the ability to use either ammo types or magazine types, which means it is immensely easier to get ammo and or the car boosted up to a better magazine, which makes it much more effective earlier on in matches. The biggest drawback of the car though will be its overall recoil. It's a bit more random than the R99, which makes it harder to control and in turn reduces the overall range. Nonetheless though, the car is a great weapon for those looking for an easier pickup that will be easy to get ammo and attachments for. Before we get to the Volt, I'll briefly say that the alternator is probably the best SMG in the game, as it should be since it is a care package weapon. The disruptor rounds shred enemies and you can easily kill entire teams with the alternator. Not only this, the recoil is very easy to control, and I'll even throw a 2x on the alternator and shred enemies' shields at range. It's really just a great weapon. But this does bring us to what I think is the best SMG in the game, the Volt. The Volt has a ton of things going for it with very little drawbacks. First and foremost, the Volt is honestly just so good with no attachments, which means as soon as you pick it up, you're pretty much just good to go. Any attachments you do get are just a bonus. In addition, the Volt is a slower shooting, higher damage SMG compared to the others, which means it has better range. And this really is key for the Volt. The Volt is nearly a hybrid weapon that you can honestly use a 2x bruiser on it and run it like an assault rifle that also has the benefits of an SMG. Since the triple take hit the floor again, energy ammo has been much easier to come by. Even if you cannot get energy ammo or really any ammo, the crafter pretty much makes it a non-issue, as you can just craft ammo if you are desperate. Like the Prowler benefited controllers, the Volt may slightly be beneficial to the mouse and keyboard players players out there, but either way, it is really good for either input. Since the Volt is easy to control and has better range, its only drawback is its time to kill, but honestly, it is so minimal again, as all the SMG's time to kill are within a 1/10 of a second. This really does make the Volt one of the best, if not the best SMG in the game. Regardless of what SMG you prefer though, they are all incredible. What SMG are you digging the most this season? Let me know down there in the comments below, and be sure to hop into our community Discord if you ever want someone to chat with about Apex or team up with someone that is not those random players. Till next time everyone, happy gaming, legends.